Alrighty, I'm going out for a nice little walk. I thought I'd talk to you. I want to talk about something really exciting that everybody loves to talk about: taxes. Everybody loves taxes. I think that word is a very poor word. Please leave suggestions in the comments of whatever you think that word should be instead. You hear a lot of people say taxation is theft, and as crazy as that sounds, it kind of is. If you don't agree to have something taken from you, that's being stolen. A lot of us do agree to taxes. We want things taken care of. But what we lose sight of is what it actually is. That word trillion has been thrown around a lot these last couple of years. And I don't think the human brain can fathom what trillion is. I barely can. So let me break down a few really basic numbers, and don't quote me that I'm, a couple dollars off, because I really don't care. This is close enough, and if you don't like it, you can research your own stuff. Every $1 trillion that the government spends costs the individual American between $4,000 and $5,000 a piece. So every time they come out with this great new bill, it's going to cost X trillions of dollars. Start thinking, rather than tax, that is $4,000 to $5,000 of your money out of your pocket. And if you don't pay taxes, that's out of your kid's pocket in the future, or out of somebody else's. Now, that $4,000 to $5,000 is per American. Last year, 61% of Americans didn't pay any federal taxes. And that's not the rich, that's your average American. So that $1 trillion each actually comes closer to $12,000 per American out of your pocket. So when they spent $6.6 trillion last year, take that 12,000 and pull it out of your pocket. You probably did not make that much money last year. I definitely did not. Which means that goes into the national debt, which means it's going to come out of my pocket this year. But wait, they just spent another $1 trillion additional dollars on things on top of what they're already proposing. And it's only November. They'll try to shove more stuff through before the end of this year, just so they have a fresh budget to start next year. So I think we need to put things in perspective when they are talking about spending money. The government does not create anything. They don't do goods and services, so therefore they don't have their own money. Whenever the government wants to spend money, it's yours. That's your dollars. That's why when you get your first paycheck and you're like, I'm making $20 an hour and I've worked 40 hours this week, and it really looks like you only worked 20 or 30 hours because so much is taken out in taxes. And a lot of you get that back at the end of the year because you've got a whole bunch of kids. I got 3 kids. I get a big refund. I'm not complaining about the refund that I get because, it benefits me, but I do think they should stop that crap. Because if they weren't refunding everybody money that they didn't pay, they wouldn't have to take it from us that do. If they stopped taking that money out of my paycheck, I wouldn't care if I didn't get a refund. I do my taxes, so I pay as little as possible, so I get back as little as possible. And there's a lot we need to look at. If your bills at the end of the month don't line up, you start looking at what you're paying out, and you start cutting things. When the government's bills aren't lining up, they add more and they take it from you. We've signed up for this, but we're also the ones that can opt out. Not saying don't pay your federal taxes. You got to pay your taxes, otherwise you go to jail. But you can get out there and vote. And my vote doesn't count. You're right, your vote doesn't count. Not a bit, because you didn't do it. 1/5 of Americans vote. That's less than a quarter. That means 1/10 of America is choosing who's in office and who's doing what. Which means even if your vote is stolen, not saying any have ever been stolen, it doesn't matter nearly as much because nobody's doing it. Nobody's going out there and trying. This wasn't supposed to be a video on voting. But even if you just go out and vote for your local mayor because you know the guy or gal, it helps. Get out there and make a decision. I don't care what decision, but you need to be involved. You need to do something. They are taking money straight from your pocket to give it to their friends because you let them. Stay safe. You're not alone.